Now, why y'all have so much anger and disrespect towards the black Americans? Why? Why y'all so upset that we not speaking up for y'all? Why? Just talk to me, Somalis. Why y'all so upset? Why the vitriol and anger towards us? And not towards the YT man? Why? That's why I don't get. Why the displaced anger towards us, the black Americans? Y'all never liked us. Y'all never even rock with us. Just being for real, just being honest. And I'm seeing countless and countless and countless of videos on what y'all did in Minnesota, right? Y'all say, well, we marched for y'all doing the Black Lives Matter. I said, Black Lives Matter? Yeah, Black Lives Matter. I'm like, Black Lives Matter. George Floyd, all the Somalis, we marched in the streets in solidarity for the black Americans on when the police unalived George Floyd. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm going to be honest with y'all. When I saw y'all marching for George Floyd, I just looked at it as just an even, fair exchange. You know why? On what we did for y'all. And what we did for y'all was we donated money to feed the children.
Family, this is one of those conversations people avoid because it is messy, emotional, and uncomfortable. Somali communities across the US are angry because Trump's ICE policies are back in the spotlight, deporting Somalis following orders from President Trump, and the fear is spreading in Somali community. But the outrage isn't just aimed at Trump's or ICE. It's also aimed at the silence from Black America, a silence many Somalis say feels intentional, cold, and punishing. And the reason behind that silence is a long-standing identity conflict.
This is a wet feeding center. That means cooked food is being distributed here. This is very good because we're sure then this is reaching those most in need. These people have traveled from very far and many are losing children along the way, and we have to ramp up these operations. Over 300,000 people here in Mogadishu need help, and those numbers are growing daily. But the cooked food needs to be fortified. We need to add in the vitamins that can help protect these children even better. And so these contributions that are coming in will go directly to operations like this and fortifying this food.
See, a lot of the commercials that we seen back in the day, maybe 30 years prior, or even 2011, matter of fact, I'm going to use 2000, even in 2011, black Americans sent money to Somalia to feed the people. Your people. We sent money there. Even in the early 90s, we sent money to y'all to feed the children. So we seen them little babies with the ribs showing. We seen them videos of them telling us that how women walk 100 miles with the babies and some of the babies didn't make it so they can get to the food center where we was giving y'all food. That was our money that we sent. So least y'all can do is march for George Floyd. So now it's an even exchange. We don't owe you nothing. You don't owe us nothing. You get what I'm saying? We fed the children out there. So don't bring up this what y'all did for us in George Floyd. But don't bring up how we fed the children. Because keep in mind, even Michael Jackson had y'all in the videos. You get what I'm saying? Back in the 80s, early 90s, he had y'all in the videos. With the starving babies, with the big head like mine. Maybe a little bigger. Some of them babies' head was big as mine. But we felt bad for you, Somalis. And I thank y'all for marching. Now, we don't owe you nothing now. You don't owe us nothing, and we don't owe you nothing. Okay? Y'all have a good one, Somalis.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, please subscribe. Let's start with the facts on the ground. ICE enforcement has intensified. Immigrant communities are being watched, raided, and detained. And Somali immigrants, many of whom have lived in the US for decades, are being hit hard. Families are terrified, parents are afraid to go to work, children are watching their stability disappear overnight. This is not theoretical. This is happening in the real time, and the anger is real. But here's where the tension explodes. Many Somali voices are asking, why is it that Black Americans are not showing up for us? Why is it that they are not protesting for us? Why are they so quiet?
Somalis are not black. Let me explain why. Looking at me right now, chat, am I black? I'm literally brown. I'm literally brown, bro. Think about it as well. Somalis are Arabs. We're in the Arab leagues. We speak the Arab language. We eat the Arab food. Bro, think about it like this, bro. If a whole community doesn't regard themselves as black, We can't be black, bro.
Somalis are not black. Now, before you disagree with me, I just want to say, listen, right? There's no such thing as the term black. The term black only came about in colonization. I don't have to accept that, sahib. That's why the other day when I was in a place, someone said to me, "Are you black?" I said, "I'm not black, sahib. I don't accept that term."
Somalis are not black. There's a difference between African and black.
I have a bone to pick with humans, right? Because religion, me and my son, we were having a discussion about religion. And my question is this: how come, I know we live in a Judo-Christian society. I have a question. How come when one Muslim, so the imam was like, black Americans, they don't even know their dads. And people were like, Islam this, Islam that. How come when the priests do stuff, nobody's like, Christianity this? The Christians. But when one Muslim do one thing, God forbid there's a Muslim who's violent. Oh my God. It's a religious war now. We're going to war. How, you know what I mean? Like, why? Can somebody explain that to me? I know we're in a Judo-Christian society, but you would think that with all this diversity that people will be a little bit open-minded. I mean, there's a lot of Muslims here. And help me. Just help me. I don't get it. One Muslim says, well, black Americans, they are not Now it's all of Islam. That's one little country in Africa. We don't know that, man. You know what I mean? I know Muslims, black Muslims. I know white Muslims here in Atlanta. They don't even know nothing. They don't got nothing to do with that man. And then another bone to pick. The Somali people were like, oh, they coming after us because we're black. Didn't y'all say y'all weren't black? Humans. The whole time they were saying that they're not black. We're not black, we're Arabs. We're not black. Am I right or wrong? Now they saying why the black Americans not siding with them because we don't have no daddies. I'm tired. This is just too much. But back to what I was saying, because the KKK, they Christians. Matt, let me tell you something about the KKK. So I met this white lady and she was like, yeah, I was going to this church in Smyrna, Georgia, which is kind of Atlanta. And she was like, the church was great. She was growing. And she said one day she was leaving and she's talking like in the parking lot. And she heard somebody say KKK. And she was like, am I hearing things? She was like, am I hearing things? So she asked somebody, was like, what did he just say? And she said the lady was like, he said KKK, And she's like, no, I don't know. But she's from the north. And she said they were like, yeah, we're the KKK. And she said, what the heck? She said the way she ran out that church. But she looked at me, she said, you know what? The scary thing is that they were police officers. They were lawyers. They were like teachers and doctors. She said, what? Georgia is different. But yeah, so with that being said, people don't be like, well, Christianity and the KKK over there talking about, spare me over for another year after they done hung a black man. What? It was literally like praying to God, asking God for this and that, for blessings after they felt like they were doing what? But nobody's like them Christians. But a Muslim do one thing, it's over. It's the Muslims, they're taking over. The Muslims, that's y'all just wow.
Why everybody always want to blame us? We can't say nothing. Look, if we quiet, we wrong. If we talking, we wrong. If we sitting, we wrong. We standing, we wrong. If we eat at this restaurant, we're wrong. It's like, bro, like why everybody got to always be on our head? Why? I'm still trying to figure that part out. What is so special about us that, oh my God, if black Americans say something, it is the end of the world. If we criticize you, oh my Lord, you know what I'm saying? If we don't fight for you, we hateful. But you know what it is, y'all. Let me tell y'all what it is. Other groups expect us to be the servant of all. We're supposed to be the perpetual fighters, the perpetual slaves of all. And because we're not doing that anymore, people trying to play the psychological game with black Americans and trying to lay accusations of, you know, oh, well, y'all hate us. See, it's two ways they try to get you psychologically. The first is you hate us and try to get you to say, oh, no, I don't feel that way. Oh, no. And try to get us to kind of come back that way. Or they'll overly compliment and say, well, black Americans, they're right about things. And black Americans, you know, you are fighters and you made a way for us and all this stuff. And I'm like, why are you saying that now? Why you didn't say it a long time ago? That don't make, I mean, we get it, but why now? Oh, I've seen the light and black Americans were right about the whole thing. And at the same time, the Somali community did vote in a lot of numbers for Trump.
Share the video, subscribe to the channel. And to the first clip, the opening clip there, don't you find it suspicious that mainstream media is not covering a story where a sitting governor, under his watch, 6.5, upwards of $8 billion has gone missing due to fraud? And mainstream media has decided not to cover it? Don't you find that suspicious? Let's keep going in this video. Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the content.
You know, like the racists are actually just jealous of Somalis because of how successful we became in a matter of one generation. And I was watching a lot of videos that are coming up on my For You page where people are saying, how come Somalis have nice cars and we don't? We've been here like how many generations? We were born here, our ancestors are from here, but Somalis drive nice cars. This whole thing is just making me realize is jealousy. They're jealous of our success because they expect us like to be at the bottom of the bottom, right? And then we come here one generation, we work hard, we save our money. And Somalis are not the only community that committed fraud, okay? We're not all committing fraud, okay? Every community has bad apples, but they're trying to use that as leverage to hate on us, right? And attack our community. But what it is like when you're an immigrant group and you're black on top of that and you're African, they hate you to be successful.
That's not true. You have Americans in general that work every day, pay into the system. They found out recently that majority of the social service, welfare, socialist benefits that, are given in this country, a large majority of illegal immigrants and quote unquote legal immigrants are receiving those benefits. It's a small portion of Americans, yet we're the ones that pay the lion's share into the tax coffers of America. Yeah. So you got a lot of people frustrated behind that. And we're not jealous. A lot of folks are just angry. We're not jealous at your success. If you actually got here and just got it out the mud, like so many of us have to, it'd be like, whatever. But the fact that you guys are scamming and defrauding and stealing taxpayer dollars, these are that come from the American people. Yeah. The average American has a problem with that, a huge problem with that. But let me play these next two clips from Ilhan Omar and another Somali individual talking trash about America.
cabsi baa loo daara way yaabeen war dadka noocaana xagee ka imaadeen bay leeyihiin kommentiyadii iyo meel kastoo wax soo galayeen baa loogu daata dhalinyarada Soomaaliyeed ee jooga Soomaaliya iyo Kenya iyo Afrika ayaguna kommentiyada wax ay ku soo qorayaan iyo u ceetamayaan.
We are Somalis, not black. There, I said it.
Well, social media's done it again. It never ceases to be just nonstop vitriol in every direction. So this wonderful commenter has left no less than 10 messages on one of my videos about Roe. If you don't remember what happened, look it up. If you want to know the updates, look it up. Because this has gotten me thinking about a psychological concept, because that's what I do. And that concept is called the truth default theory. As humans evolved, we learned that we weren't very good at doing things by ourselves. So building houses, farming, hunting was all a little bit better when we worked as a team. So we evolved particular parts of our brain, for example, our frontal or prefrontal cortex, to help us to connect with others, to learn how to play nice, to learn how to create a community. And one part of that was, if you initially assume that everybody that's around you is not telling the truth, you're going to have a very difficult time interacting with them. So we evolved the default to truth, right? Malcolm Gladwell talks about it in his book, Talking to Strangers. So basically, it takes more evidence to believe that somebody is lying than to believe that someone is telling the truth. So when someone comes up to you and says, I have 2 dogs at home, you're not initially thinking, what is this person trying to get from me? Why are they telling me this thing? They definitely don't have 2 dogs at home. You just kind of assume, okay, this person has 2 dogs. Now let's continue on with the conversation. What's going on with the dogs? Because if every time someone came up to you and told you something, you immediately didn't agree with them or thought they were lying, society would just be in tumult. But when you connect this with the other psychological concept of confirmation bias, then you have a very beautifully interesting thing where you choose to believe the truths that align with pre-existing beliefs that you've already had, and you might not believe some things that don't align with your pre-existing beliefs. And if anything, social media has really taught us that people will pick and choose the things they want to believe and the things they don't want to believe. And this goes for everyone, including myself, which is why when I do videos on here, I try not to necessarily be like reporting the news and stating that something's like super factual or true, because we never know. We never know. Because even the new information coming out about Roe might be true, might not be true. Who knows? So when I talk about things, I try to talk about how they're psychologically relevant to something larger, right? Like right now, having a conversation about defaulting to truth. Because at the end of the day, one thing I've learned from working with thousands upon thousands upon thousands of patients and clients in the mental health space is that sometimes we don't even know what is true about our own motivations and desires and drives. And so if we don't even know, it's going to be even more difficult for other people to know.
What did I say? In the video when it first broke out, or when I became aware of it, I said, who do you think taught these people how to do this fraud and embezzlement? It wasn't us. This country kept their eyes on us. I said, you already know who it is. Did you really think they wanted to work with you guys? Did you ever realize that they were using you? I was looking at this TikTok video, and this guy said, well, see, y'all wanted to move to y'all little communities and be around these folks and speak in your language and block us out. He was talking about blocking indigenous black folks out. He said, if y'all, listened to us and told us what y'all was trying to do, we could have told you, don't trust these people. We know. Fully aware of their get down. Check this out.
A federal jury convicted Feeding Our Future founder Amy Bach and restaurant owner Salim Saeed on all charges yesterday. These are new booking photos of the two locked up tonight in Sherburne County as they await sentencing. But the effort to claw back the millions of taxpayer dollars they stole is still happening. Investigative reporter Eric Rasmussen is following that part of
Amy Bach is the founder of the organization that lied and said they fed 91 meals to needy children receiving $250 million. Why, when these immigrants come to this country, one of the first things they want to do is start a nonprofit? Who taught them that? And another thing, I used to live around Africans, and an African man told me how they get down. He told me that they start nonprofits, including churches, and that's how they defraud the government.
Kevin, if you've been following this case, you know the big number. Nearly $250 million stolen from a federal program to feed kids in need. And now we're learning more about where that money went and what's being done to get it back. It's a sweet house on a cul-de-sac in Plymouth. Even sweeter online in real estate photos featuring an indoor basketball court. On Wednesday, a jury found Salim Saeed used federal food money to buy the house for $1.1 million. Now it's part of a government portfolio of property seized in the Feeding Our Future fraud investigation across Minnesota, the United States, and even in places such as Turkey and Kenya. A first step in trying to recover nearly $250 million stolen from taxpayers.
Now, I do believe that there are some people in the Somali community that did commit fraud. I do believe that, but I also believe that they are being thrown under the bus. I believe, because it's easier for immigrants to come over here and commit all kind of crimes and build criminal empires, right? Until this country country don't need them anymore. But anyway, I believe they were taught by those people who think they're in charge of everything, because they're the ones who get mainly busted for white collar crimes. And I believe that they're the ones who stole the billions of dollars, and the Somalis are taking the rap. But see, that's what happened when you come over here and you speak these racist talking points against us and think.
So Somalians are trying to drag black Americans into their fight. Check this out.
But Trump based his order on a report whose author has made it clear that his goal is to denaturalize and deport as many Somali Americans as possible. This is not about crime. It's not about safety. This is about purging people like me from this country. Minnesota has always been a welcoming place for people fleeing a home country that is blasted by war, poverty, and hunger. Europeans in the 19th and 20th century, black Americans from the South, Hmong.
That was a call for allyship, and they threw the race card out there. We're all black. What happened to I'm not black, I'm Somalian? And what happened to the call of allyship when y'all was scamming Minnesota out of hundreds of millions of dollars? They only pull out the race card when it's beneficial to them, because before this, they'll tell you, you're jealous because Somalians are driving Priuses. And there's no allyship when they taking advantage of all these government assistance programs, HUD, public housing. They're not going to let you in their building that they're in. And these are the same people that will tell you, if you black American Somalians will say, hey, my people came over here in planes and your people came over here in shackles and chains. Keep that same energy. I respect that. Since me and my peoples came over here in shackles and chains in a ship, I'm porting my ship right here. This is where I'm going to port my ship. Don't use black as a race card. Don't use black when it's beneficial. Keep that same energy. You not black, you Somalians. You not black, you Nigerians. Keep that same energy. Because when it's time to benefit all these government programs, like housing, all that stuff, they lock other people out. They don't care about nobody else but their own people. So why you yelling allyship now?
And now I'm understanding, and you're going to look at, I hear they ripped off Somalians. Ripped off that state for billions of dollars, billions, every year, billions of dollars, and they contribute nothing. The welfare is like 88%. They contribute nothing. I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you. Okay? Somebody say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care.
Remember the difference between us and everybody else. Our hair. We have African hair. African people have African hair. But as you can see, the same thing in both places. Hair discrimination in both places. You know, wherever we was native to, they made us unnative. The first thing they use as an excuse is why y'all the minority. Because you been killing us off and running us out of our land. We will always be the minority when there's more smooth-haired people than people with African hair. Huh? The Somali got smooth hair. The Ethiopian has smooth hair. The Egyptian has smooth hair. The Arab has smooth hair. The Asian have smooth hair. The European has smooth hair. The Neanderthal has smooth hair. The Denisovan has smooth hair. The Neanderthal, the caveman, the Cro-Magnon man has the smooth hair trait. What we not understanding? None of them have African hair. African people produce African hair. That's just point blank. And if you do see a dark-skinned person with smooth hair, he's not African. We do not produce smooth hair. We don't produce smooth hair. That's why in every land, every country, the people are separated solely by hair. And sometimes by hair and nose. And then in other cases, you may have hair, nose, and skin. You see what I'm saying? Hair, nose, and skin. Remember, the African is dealing with the EU melanin. Everybody else is dealing with the pheomelanin. So they're not even dark skinned. They're like a darker red. They're a dark red. So don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. Of course, we're going to be the minority when there are more smooth-haired people than African-haired people. And that's the difference. But peep game, those are the subtropics. So when you type in the African American, it's all these are subtropics because we are tropical beings, and this is the only place we can be at and not freeze to death. We are not a people of snow. We don't come from snow. We don't come from snow-capped mountains. We don't come from no caves, and we don't come from no sands. That's the difference. We are tropical beings. We come from moist air. We are equatorial beings. So you need an equatorial tropical diet. Point blank. And being in an equatorial tropical environment. Point blank. Point blank.
Okay, I just wanted to call out Warrior really quick because I actually remember you from the Cancel Tariq Nasheed space, and you were the host in that space, and you were saying extremely racist stuff about black men, how they're uneducated, how all they do is beat on their women, how, like, you said, like, 70% of black men are prostitutes. I don't even know where you got that from. You were saying, calling them niggers, a whole bunch of racist stuff, and I just want to know, like, what is your problem with black males in America? I don't understand why there's so much hate towards black males. Like, I don't understand that.
All right. So since you're addressing me, I'm gonna answer you in a very simple manner. If you were in that space that day, you would have noticed that they came for us and insulted us for our culture. They made fun of our women. They claimed that we practice FGM. They called us rapists. They said we have we're pirates, we're thieves. So at the end of the day, you should not dish a meal that you're not ready to be served afterwards. So at the end of the day, people should not get offended when people call you out too for your bullshit. So this conversation that we're currently having right now is not correlated to that space. And at the end of the day, it's true. At the end of the day, African Americans, majority of the men are criminals, such as the guy here who's been in jail 3 times. I don't know where he went, but anyways, go on. I'll let you speak. I'll talk when it's my turn.
No, that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to call you out because I don't know if you're a troll or what, if you want to just make other people laugh, but you were saying some really racist stuff. That's all I wanted to say.
Yes, I'm a reformed racist if you read my bio.
Many black Americans are responding, not loudly but firmly, with silence. For years, a visible number of Somalis have publicly said, "We are not black, we are Somali first. We are Arab or Arab connected. Black American struggles are not ours." Black Americans had that and they did not forget it. Here's the hard truth. You can't distance yourself from black culturally, but expect protection from anti-black systems politically. When police brutality dominated headlines, many Somalis stayed neutral. When conversation about slavery, Jim Crow, and systemic racism happened, some said, "That's not our history." So now, as ICE targets Somali neighborhoods, many black Americans are saying quietly, "Handle it the same way you said, our fight is not your fight." Okay. But here's the danger in all of this. ICE does not care what identity debates people have online. Trump does not care who identifies as Arab, African, Somali, or anything else. To the system, dark skin is enough, an accent is enough, and a name is enough. So, while communities argue over labels, ICE is still separating families. That's how divide and conquer works. Somalis have the right to define their culture and history, and black Americans have the right to withdraw solidarity when it is not respected. Both things can be true at the same time. But here's the cost. When solidarity becomes conditional and reactive, everyone loses. When people deny black identity until oppression hits, trust breaks. When people withhold support out of memory, suffering still happens. And the system benefits from both. Somalis are fuming because they feel targeted and abandoned. Black Americans are silent because they feel used and dismissed. Neither side feels heard, and neither side feels respected. And while emotions clash online, deportation plans don't pause for debates. This moment exposes a deeper issue. You don't get to opt out of blackness socially and still expect protection from anti-black power structures. And silence might feel justified, but it doesn't stop injustice from spreading. The system does not ask who is really black, it just acts. Somalis are angry, Black Americans are quiet, ICE is active. That combination should worry everybody. The real question is not who was right in the past. It is either we are willing to learn from it before more families are destroyed. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. This is Mercy Realities.